Caren. Welcome to the Seasons of Living. On today's video, I want to show you my simple process for storing grains. As you can see, we have lots of grains to store. We store a lot of grains for our animals and for ourselves. Today I want to talk to you about how I store grains. I have been storing grains for many years, and I know that right now I'm getting a lot of questions of what I do, and so I want to share that with you, and I hope that it will help you. So there's several things, several ways that I store. So first of all, if I have any doubt about the grains, I will put them in the freezer for 2 weeks. That will help. It won't completely rid you of insects, but it will definitely help. I use half-gallon ball jars, and I use a food saver, which vacuum seals the lid, the canning lid on the jar. And it works very well. It is not perfect, but these have been stored for 6 years, and so everything looks great. You know, for an extra thing, you could put an oxygen absorber in it, and that would even make it would even be better. So that's one way. Another thing I do is I do buy from the LDS, I buy canned food that has a 30-year shelf life. I use Mylar bags that have oxygen absorbers, and I will put those Mylar bags down in a 5-gallon bucket with a gamma seal lid. Let's see, something that looks like this. Most of the Mylar bags have Ziplocs closures now, but sometimes back when I started doing this, you had to iron them and melt them shut to close them. Okay, I want to show you how I store using the Mylar bags. So this has been stored for many, many years. I believe it has organic brown rice, and so you want to make sure with a Sharpie marker that you mark everything so you know what's in it. So you would just add your product in your Mylar bag, and then you would use, if it was a zip, close, and then you would use heat to seal this so it was airtight. But before you seal, you want to make sure and add the recommended number of oxygen absorbers. Now that's a pretty easy thing to find, how many you should use. But anyway, so then I would put my product, oxygen absorbers, Ziploc, and seal with heat. Then I would put it down in my bucket, and I would seal. I use the gamma seal lids, just like this. And my 5-gallon bucket is just for my hardware store. Then I would mark my product and the date, and that should you should be able to use that for many years to store your product. I wanted to show you what a Mylar bag looks like. They're just a giant Ziploc bag made out of Mylar. It has the Ziploc opening. They're very, very easy, and oxygen absorbers look like this. So anyway, just if you're wondering, I wanted to show that to you right quick. Now I want to show you how to use the food saver to vacuum seal your grains in ball canning jars. Okay, the first thing is, of course, this is the food saver, and this is the wide mouth jar vacuum sealer. So it has a tube you connect from the wide mouth vacuum sealer to the food saver. Okay, that's the first thing we're going to do. Now we're going to fill our jar, and I just got in a 50-pound bag of organic einkorn wheat berries, and I feel confident that they are insect-free and weevil-free, so I'm going to not put them in the freezer for 2 weeks. I'm just going to go directly and go ahead and vacuum seal them in my jars, because I do like to, I grind lots of grain and I like to use it out of the glass jar. It's really convenient. Now, if I were concerned, I would put this whole bag, if I had room, in the freezer for at least 2 weeks. And you can find exactly how to do that, because you can freeze and then warm and then freeze again to make sure you get everything. And then we're just gonna add our einkorn wheat berries. And it's always best to just keep wheat berries, because the minute that you grind grains, they start on their journey to becoming rancid. So I like, you tap your jar to make sure you tap your wheat down. And this canning jar funnel has a marker that you can see when your canning jar is full, and I always recommend the canning jar funnels. I use them for everything. Okay, so you just want to tap your wheat. Okay, you want to use a wide mouth lid. Now, it does not have to be brand new. This one is, but it does not have to be. So you place it on your jar, you put your wide mouth vacuum over the lid, you lock your food saver down, and you press vacuum seal. And a little green light comes on. Okay, red light's on, and you'll have to decompress the machine. So you just raise the little lever, and then you take off your wide mouth, and there you go, all sealed. Okay, very important, write the contents and the date. Okay, a little added protection would be to put an oxygen absorber in your jar, and that would be probably the ultimate way to store grain. Now I want to show you how we store grains for our animals. This is whole corn that's organic, Milo. We do not need to long-term store those, but we want to make sure, you know, we do our best to make sure that they are free from insects. So some of the ways that we store them is we have the big, I think they're 55-gallon barrels that for food safe, that you screw the lid on, and we keep our chicken food in that. Also a metal trash can works also. I did that for years. And so this Mylar bag has weed in it, and I'm not 100% like, you know, confident that it is insect free. So we're going to make sure all the air is out, and we're going to put it in the freezer for 2 weeks just to make sure and kind of run it through the cycle. Now I want to review how I store grains for long-term storage. I want to make sure that I'm very clear. I've been doing it many years, and it works really well. So first, when you get your grains, if you have freezer space and are concerned that there might be insect contamination, you should freeze your grains for at least 2 weeks. And there is a process where you freeze and warm and then freeze again, but I usually just freeze 2 weeks, and that will at least help things. If you are not concerned, or you think that your grains are from a clean source, then I like to do the food saver and vacuum seal them in glass jars. I like to keep all of my food in glass, and also it's very limited in refrigerator and freezer space. So I believe, this has worked really great for me. So another way for long-term food storage, I buy cans of 30-year life grains from the LDS, and I'm sure they're in your area. So if I buy lots of grains for my animals to ferment, so we use the 55-gallon food safe plastic barrels that have the screw-on lid, and those work really great to keep out varmints and to keep it dry. So it's not particularly insect proof, but it works pretty well. You also can use a metal trash can with a metal lid if you're using your grains pretty rapidly for animal use. So I believe, let's see, another thing, so we use the Mylar bags in the 5-gallon plastic buckets with the Gamma Seal lids, and we put the oxygen absorbers in the Mylar bags and seal them, with like a hot iron. So I believe that that just about covers it. I just kind of wanted to present a few options for you, and you can investigate further to know like some details. But anyway, maybe this will help you, because I know right now a lot of people are getting a lot of bulk grains in, and you really just can't leave them, you know, out. I know the bins, plastic bins, I tried that, you know, maybe 10 years ago, and that did not work for me. But anyway, this seems pretty reliable. Or, you know, even if you don't have the vacuum sealer, even canning jars with just the lid and rings, you know, works pretty well. Or sometimes if you have a lot of refrigerator space, you can, you know, if you don't vacuum seal, you can just put canning lids and put them in your refrigerator, and that's a safe method also. As far as I know, there is no degradation to the grains to freeze them, so I hope this helps. I thought I would show you how we store our animal feed on a large scale. We buy these 2,000-pound totes, and we keep the feed in the tote. We always make sure that we tie it back up. These are waterproof. Make sure that it's sitting on a pallet, and eventually, if you have a 55-gallon plastic food safe barrel, you can transfer the feed to that. But this works really good, and we've been doing this for about 8 years. I wanted to show you what the blue barrels look like, the 55-gallon food safe barrels that the animal feed goes in. We keep our Milo for our chickens right here. When you homestead, it's a reality, you will have a lot of feed, and you do not want any varmints, or especially mice. My animals are disease free, so we have to make sure there is no contamination. So we keep Milo in here. These lids are very, very safe. Keep them screwed down. We have the dog, cat food in the middle, trash bins. That works great. You can also, we'll tie them down sometimes if a raccoon is around and we need to do that. While we're in our feed area, I'll show you our chick brooder. It is an antique, and we use it when we have to, we have chicks that a hen did not set, like if we incubate. We really prefer for the hen to set and to raise her own chicks, but if not, they go into this wonderful chick brooder, and it works great. And Mr. Roofer is about to put some eggs in our incubator, and so we'll be showing you the process of that. I hope this video helped you. Storing grains for long-term storage is very important to homesteaders. Very important when you need to store grains for your animals. In a few months, I have shared with you, we have an organic heirloom wheat field, and this is our first year, and we plan to combine this summer, and we will have to figure out how to store thousands of pounds of grain, of wheat. So I plan to share that with you and keep you informed. I think it's real interesting. We're organic, so we can't treat our bins. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to our channel for more on farmstead living. From our Texas Hill Country farmstead to you, have a blessed day, and bye-bye.